Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to take a look at the relaxing time spent in the mountains Super Saiyan Goku, and we're going to see just how good he is after his Extreme Z Awakening. Now Goku is a pretty cool character. I think a lot of people were excited for his ZZA because he's one of those free-to-play units that you could kind of see was pretty good at a base level. Like he was had a good kit, had a cool design. I think he's a really solid character. Now, usually when you get these characters, then they kind of under buff them when it comes to like their overall performance. But I think in this case, Goku's just about right. I think he could have been maybe a little bit better. Of course, it's very difficult to always say, but I think he could have been a little bit better. But I think overall he's a very exciting character, and I think he's very, very cool. So let's talk a little bit about Goku and obviously understand him. Now, Goku's family lead of 77% greatly raises attack and defense for one turn and recovers 10% HP on a super attack. His passive is a bit of a doozy. He activates his entrance animation once only, recovers 10% HP at the end of the character's attacking turn, and gives all allies Ki +1 for 4 turns from his entry when there's another Earthbred Fighters category character on the team. He has attack and defense of 159% and will get an additional attack and defense of 100% when performing a super attack, which is pretty basic. He will then recover 10% HP if HP is 90% or less. He will guard all attacks if HP is 60% or less, and he will recover an additional 15% HP and launch an additional super attack if HP is 30% or less as well. He gives all bonded parent and child category allies Ki +2 and attack and defense of 30%. And he has an additional damage reduction of 30% when guard is activated, and an additional attack of 59% when performing a super attack if there's another Goku's category ally attacking, Goku's family category ally attacking in the same turn. Goku is pretty good. Honestly speaking, I find him to be very interesting and very solid. I think overall, for me, Goku is really quite interesting. Firstly, let's talk stat-wise. So, depending on if you have all in the family active and depending on your support on the rotation, anywhere between 180 to 250,000 defense at a rainbow level, which is pretty good. Right out the gate, that's really solid. Then if we take a look at, of course, his defense after super, that gets even higher. So we're looking at 400k defense, give or take, before the application of his greatly raising defense from his super attack. So realistically, a unit that if he gets double supers could be breaking the 500k mark, which is pretty good. Not to mention, each super restores 10% HP. He already restores 10% HP if we're below 90%, and he restores another 15% HP if we're below 30%. To put that in perspective, Goku can heal you from 29% HP all the way up to essentially 74% HP if he gets a double super. So it's pretty interesting. Being a support is also pretty good. Bond the parent and child's a very large category, so 30% support for that is really solid and really quite good and really quite spectacular. And then yes, of course, on top of that as well, his guard capability. Now, the guard mechanism is give or take. The below 60% health threshold is not terrible. Being below 60% can occur to you quite often. The big thing is that being below 60% isn't necessarily something that's distinctly like a situation you want to be in. However, when it does occur, it's great, and the additional 30% damage reduction is really, really helpful. Of course, on condition that you have a Goku's family ally in the same turn. So the 30% damage reduction doesn't just kick in. You have to have a Goku's family category ally in the same turn. Otherwise, you're just not going to see the same level of results. So that is something that you have to anticipate. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think Goku's pretty good. Lots of utility, tons of healing. Very interesting. Obviously, they took his resting in the Namek saga quite seriously because, lots of healing here from Goku. Like a lot of healing, which is more than fine. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, it is more than fine that Goku has so much healing. I think, honestly speaking, it's great. I think Goku's really solid in that regard. And it's a good chunk of utility, like I said, all that healing, all that really strong capabilities, all that really strong presence that he has. I think ultimately at the end of the day is awesome. And I think it's really helpful that he, continues to carry such utility. All in the Family is probably the crucial link that really kind of augments, changes, separates his defense from being bog standard to being incredibly good, and it is something you're going to have to consider when you're using him. Of course, you can just float him, but just remember he will lose a lot of defensive security if you don't have All in the Family. With that being said, he's still great. I think as a floating unit with his support, his guard mechanisms, his health restoration mechanisms, I think he could be a pretty fun unit to use on Goku's family or Earthbred fighters, or even a Bond the Parent and Child team. All three of those teams will probably see the best out of him, because you'll have the requisite Goku's family members to augment his attack and to activate his full passive. Realistically, although he looks conditional, a lot of his conditions aren't too hard to obtain, barring the guard mechanism, which isn't either hard to obtain, it's just that 60% might be a little bit lower than people like. But yeah, I find Goku to be excellent. I think he's a great unit, great free-to-play unit, excellently designed, and he brings tons of awesome utility. But yeah, that's basically going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, as always, take care, stay safe, and let me know what you think in the comments.